from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. We're ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Binupurarachi.
And I'm Ishainali. Let's have a look at the headlines for tonight.
Torrential rains in Tamil Nadu due to the cyclone Fengal. The impact on Sri Lanka from cyclone is gradually declining. A threat on the spread of diseases due to the rainy weather condition. Relief is being provided speedily to flood victims. The government's attention to increase Mahapula allowance and scholarships. The Central Environment Authority says the harmful air pollution in several urban areas is expected to dispel within the next 2 days. The professorial unit issue of the Boratua Medical Faculty students has been resolved. 100 persons killed in attacks in Gaza within 24 hours. South Africa wins the first test.
On to those and others in detail, and your top story for tonight is the impact of the cyclone on Sri Lanka's weather condition is gradually receding.
And the danger levels on several rivers and reservoirs which were at overflowing stage due to heavy rains have now been eliminated. The Department of Irrigation cautions to remain vigilant of the areas of Manampitiya and Peradeniya along the Mahaveli River as well as Horapatana along the Yan Oyer. The flood levels in the Polonnaruwa district are also going down. Our correspondent says sluice gates at the Parakrapa Samudra and Kaudula Reservoir, which had maintained open, are now closed. Flood waters in the historic Sobhavati sacred site have greatly reduced. The Mahaveli authority says that, however, the Piburatanda Reservoir is still overflowing. A special discussion on the disaster situation in Polonnaruwa was held at the Secretariat, presided over by the parliamentarian Dr. Sudhil Ratnasiri and District Secretary Sujatha Ekanayakar. At the meeting, it was decided to take further measures by visiting the areas that have been subjected to a disaster situation. It has also been pointed out that a sum of 5 million rupees have been received to fulfill the basic needs of those victimized in the district. Some of the inmates staying in relief centres have been seen returning to their villages with the reduction of the flood waters. However, they would continuously be provided with the necessary relief. Around 15,000 acres of paddy lands in the Polonnaruwa district alone were damaged due to floods. The parliamentarian says measures are being taken expeditiously to provide compensation to the affected farmers. 2 sluice gates of the Rajangane Reservoir in Anuradhapura remain open. The Navy is engaged in removing refuse blocked at the Kadewathu Bridge across the Pollatubodara River in Mathura. Garbage, including the timber flown downstream, are being cleared. This has resulted in lessening the flood situation. The Navy relief team are continuously engaged in providing assistance to those affected by the floods. 8 teams have been assigned in this work. The Navy was engaged in providing relief to the victims in the district of Ampara, Trincomalee and Anuradhapura today as well. They are providing cooked food and transporting and rescuing persons facing flood threats. Minister Samantha Vidyaratna has visited the affected areas in Pastura and inspected these houses subjected to earth slips. Steps have been taken to grant relief to those displaced. The army has been successful in rescuing without harm 6 persons trapped due to an earth slip in Katukale, Kandy. The earth slip was recorded in the vicinity of several houses in the area last evening. The Gramadita Dahari says residents have not withdrawn from the area despite hearing several warnings. Members of 6 affected families have been relocated to relief camps. 54 tanks in Vavuniya were reported to have been damaged due to floods. Deputy Minister Upali Samarasinghe says that steps are being taken to repair the tanks expeditiously. The Deputy Minister at the meeting at the Vavuniya Secretariat also said compensation will be provided speedily to those who have paddy fields were destroyed. All MPs in the Vavuniya district have participated in the discussion. Upcountry train transport is restricted to Bandaravilla due to the fall of earth mounds. It has been pointed out that upcountry railway services were conducted up to Bandaravilla until the year 1893. The equipment used to turn train engines during that period is being used for the rescue operations at present as well. Several trains were able to be operated from Bandaravilla today. The Badulla District Disaster Management Unit says that 2 more houses in the vicinity of the severe recent earth slip accident in the Udavara plantation in Haliyala are facing a great threat of destruction. The family members of those who have houses been temporarily detained at a daycare centre in Udavara.
And in the meantime, the Department of Met says that the Bengal cyclone, which was located in the southwestern Bay of Bengal, is gradually losing its strength as it was moving towards India. And however, the impact of the cyclone continues to cause rainfall in certain parts of the island, and the skies in the northern and eastern provinces continue to remain cloudy. The report also says showers in other provinces are possible.
Due to the bad weather situation, 24 districts been and high wind situations around the country. 479,000 people have been affected in various situations in around the country so far. 17 deaths been recorded since the beginning of this the bad weather situation. 20 injuries been recorded yet, and the 229 safe evacuation centers been set up, and all these the communities were taken and safely taken to the these 229 safe evacuation centers. They have been treated with all the relief and the food and dry rations and other health support as well. So that is being coordinated by district secretaries. So mainly the Disaster Management Center and also the National Disaster Relief Services Center, the division of the disaster management of the Defence Ministry, been totally coordinating and processing and doing all these things for the relief and the other groundworks as well. At the moment, 11 deaths been reported in Ampara district and one from Badulla, and 2 deaths been recorded in Puttalam district, and Trincomalee, Vavuniya and Jaffna, 1 death each been recorded, together 17. We are always advising not to play with the flood water. There are current the water speed, and also there are very severe thunder and severe flowing of the water is being identified in many areas. People are advised not to play with the flood water and not to see that particular area has been affected with the flood situations. Still, the Met Department is expecting more rain even tonight as well. So we are expecting some rain, and the deep depression and the cyclonic situation is over the India right now, but there are some side effects being recorded there, and some flood situations are minimizing and the receding the flood in many areas. But today we recorded less rain in Kilnochi and surrounding area, but we got some rain in Kalutara, Colombo and Gaul and Mathura district as well. The warning for the landslide been continuously issued from the National Building and Research Organisation at Badulla, Colombo, Gampaha, Kandy, Kevol, Kurunegala, Mathale, Noreli and Ratnapura district. But the red warnings been taken off, and the yellow and the amber color warnings still being there. People are advised to be very vigilant with the signs of the landslide, especially the slanting trees and light poles and all, and also cracks on the grounds and sudden muddy springs being disappeared or appeared. So those signs has to be well observed by the community. If these signs been observed, they need to move from these locations. Still, the spill gates been opened in many the reservoirs, especially Tabbova, Daduroya, Peraru at Vavuniya, and also Polgolla, Ulhiti Ratkin at Badulla, Canyon, Lakshapan and Polpiti at in the Noreli district, and Angamua, Nachadivu, Rajangane, Kalaveva from the Anuradhapura district, and Veerigala Reservoir in the Monragala district. The people at downstreams so need to be well vigilant while they are using these waters. So many river levels been normalizing and normalized as well, but still the rain is expected. People still need to be vigilant, and the fishermen still not been advised to venture the sea areas where the Met Department is completely identified from Mena to Potaville, from Jaffna and all. The district disaster management units is completely deployed, and military and the police, more than 3,000 persons been deployed with the equipments to such a rescue missions and the relief missions, and also providing food and other other things as well. So 117 number is there for contacting everyone free of charge.
And meanwhile, the cyclone Fengal, which passed out of Sri Lanka's eastern coast, has progressed towards Tamil Nadu and is making landfall near Puducherry area. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for various parts of the southern states in view of the incessant rainfall. The Indian Meteorological Department further said that the cyclonic storm Fengal moved west-southwards with a speed of 7 km per hour during the past 6 hours. The cyclone is moving further west-southwards and started crossing into the North Tamil Nadu Puducherry coast between Karaikal and Mahabalipuram. Wind speed measuring to 70 to 80 km per hour and reaching as high as 90 km per hour will prevail over the region in the next 3 to 4 hours. Chennai Airport announced suspension of operations till 4 a.m. tomorrow following heavy inundation of runways and the taxiway, with over 50 flights being cancelled and scores of passengers left in the lurch. Chennai Metro services have also suspended its operations and few buses were seen on the roads.
And in the meantime, consultant physician Deepal Pereira says there is a threat of proliferation of diseases these days due to rain and floods. He points out that there is a danger of the spreading of diseases such as diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid fever, rat fever and dengue. Consultant physician Deepal Pereira said that in addition wheezing condition among children, viral fever and pneumonia would prevail. All these are diseases which could be controlled. It would become helpful if all are being provided with clean food, clean water, especially cool water after boiling. If fever prevails more than 3 days, a blood test will have to be conducted in order to find whether there is any decline in the number of blood pellets. Dengue disease is also appearing to be spreading. Water being accumulated due to rainfall have to be removed in order to prevent the spread of mosquitoes, and he added that in failure to do so would pave the way for another dengue epidemic. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has revised the prices of 3 types of fuel with effect from midnight tonight. The price of a litre of Lanka petrol octane 92 has been reduced by 2 rupees. The price of Lanka auto diesel has been increased by 3 rupees and the price of a litre of kerosene by 5 rupees. There is no change in the current prices of Lanka petrol octane 95 and Lanka super diesel.
And meanwhile, Minister Vasantha Samarasinha says that the government has taken measures to speedily provide relief to the people affected by the harmful weather condition. He has made these remarks to the media upon venerating the Ruwan Valley Mahasaya in Anuradhapura area today. The minister has called on Venerable Italavatiduweve Janatilakatera of the Ruwan Valley Mahasaya and received blessings. He has explained to the Mahanaikatera on the government's future program. Venerable Janatilakatera has pointed out that there is a need to create a smart farm by upgrading agriculture through a Shernus program to develop the reservoirs. The Venerable Thera has also requested the minister to take necessary steps to attract more tourists to Anuradhapura. He has also pointed out that need to implement a food security program through the joint collaboration of the cooperatives, the South and the Paddy Marketing Board. Minister Vasantha Samarasinha said that the government has decided to implement a relief program on behalf of people affected by rain and floods in all districts. Necessary instructions have been provided to the relevant district secretariats in this connection. The government has set aside the necessary funds for the relief project. Compensation will be granted to the farmers whose crops were destroyed due to the natural calamity. Minister Vasantha Samarasinha also said in the past farmers' insurance has been plundered by several groups. Therefore, the government is compelled to provide new insurance to the affected farmers.
Central Environmental Authority says the harmful air quality situation prevailing in many urban areas in the country is expected to return to normalcy within the next 2 days. The authority requests those having respiratory disorders to immediately reach for medical treatment. The unhygienic atmospheric condition is the result of the winds from the northerly direction associated with inclement weather condition. The CEA says many towns have been affected. The air quality in Jaffna town remains somewhat unclean. Similar situations have been reported in several areas in Colombo, Gaul, Polonnaruwa, Anuradhapura and Mullaitivu districts. The Central Environment Authority says that, however, this is only a minor polluting condition. Media spokesperson of the CEA, Dr. Ajit Gunawardena, said that they are hoping that the situation would dissipate within the next day or two. The index was at a much reduced level by yesterday. Even today, minor pollution was recorded.
Meanwhile, the ambassador of the United Arab Emirates, Khail Nazar Ali Amar, says the strong commitment of the people of Sri Lanka for democratic principles is being greatly appreciated. He has made these remarks at a meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Haruni Amarasuriya. The discussion between the Prime Minister and the envoy of the United Arab Emirates has taken place at the Prime Minister's office yesterday. Ambassador Ali Amar has further stated that meeting that he is proud of the long-standing bilateral friendship between the two countries. He has also praised the professional and skilled services of the Sri Lankan nationals engaged on duties in the UAE. Second Secretary to the Embassy, Ali R. Mashur, and officials of the Prime Minister's office also took part in the discussion.
Former parliamentarian Professor Ashu Marasinghe says that the United National Party and the Samika Jana Balavege should be united. He was addressing a media briefing in Colombo today. Professor Ashu Marasinghe said the national list problem is an unnecessary problem which was dragged too long. This is a problem which has to be resolved without delay. The former parliamentarian further said he believed that Ravi Karunanayake and former President Ranil Wickremesinghe and all other relevant groups should get together to find a solution. He further said that this is not only a problem of the UNP but of the SJB as well. Marasinghe also said that he had heard an SJB parliamentary aspirant saying that he would commit suicide if he was not given the national list MP post. He added that this news had given him immense pain and sorrow. He also said he was wondering how a person could be fallen into such a low status. Deprivation of a parliamentary portfolio is not a matter of a person to lose life. Ashu Marasinghe also said the politician who loved the country should strive to fulfill the people's expectations.
And a decision has been taken to commence professorial training for students of the Faculty of Medicine in the Maritime University at the Naguru Teaching Hospital in Kalutara in July the next year. Attention has been focused on the issue and the discussion headed by the Minister of Health, Dr. Nalinda Jayantisa, recently. Accordingly, necessary facilities are to be established speedily at the hospital premises. The Kalutara District Hospital has been nominally graded as a teaching hospital for the medical students at the Borotua University to undergo clinical training in the year 2021. However, problems have arisen preventing to fulfill the relevant task due to the inability to upgrade physical resources. Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayantisa said that by now the students of 4 academic years are now undergoing studies at the medical faculty. However, an appropriate medical faculty to suit the needs of the professorial training has not yet been provided. Minister Dr. Jayantisa also said that the previous government were engaged in discussions to use the Neville Fernando Hospital in Malabar for clinical training of these students. He has pointed out that, however, the number of patients arriving at the hospital to receive treatment is at a minimum level. The minister also said that the attention of the health sector is to be utilized for a systematic acquisition of the hospital by the health ministry. He also said that the task has been entrusted upon a group including Director General of the Ministry of Health to engage in a development program of the hospital targeting tourism. The relevant report is expected to be end by the next month. Minister Dr. Jayantisa further said that Neville Fernando Hospital will develop under a special model.
Moving on to other stories here at home, joint Christian celebrations and Thanksgiving services of the religious program to bless the flags of the Sri Lankan Navy was held at the St. Lucia Cathedral in Kotahena yesterday. The event was organized in connection with the 74th anniversary commemoration of the Sri Lankan Navy, scheduled to be held on the 9th of next month. Navy Commander-in-Chief Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira, chairperson of the Navy Seva Vanita Unit, Malalam Heva, were among those who were present at the service organized under the initiatives of the Forces Christian Association. The joint Thanksgiving and celebration service originated in the year 1991 and is being conducted continuously up to date. The service was conducted under the leadership of His Eminence Bishop Dr. Lionel Emmanuel Fernando and in the presence of the clergymen of the Lanka Sabha of the Roman Catholic Church, the Methodist Church and the Baptist Council.
And the Sri Lanka's largest and most prestigious three-day Maritime and Logistic Conference came to an end yesterday, with focusing on ways and means of expanding the vital sector under the current global challenges. Over 60 speakers representing the international maritime and logistics sector took part in the conference. Future fuels, planet and shipping, clean energy efficient integrations and green robotics in port were some of the key topics discussed at the summit that commenced on last Wednesday.
We talk of a beautiful island, we have a top-class port, but we are not doing enough. And I used to get invited to speak at the Singapore Maritime Week every year. And I go there in April and see so many people coming in, seeing the place, talking about maritime. What are we doing? So that is the birth of this conference. We just want to promote Sri Lanka. I don't have any other personal interest because I am not in the business of shipping or exports or logistics anymore. I left that long time. I am into capacity building and helping young students, the next generation, to make Sri Lanka a different Sri Lanka than the Sri Lanka that I grew. The Sri Lanka that I grew was not a pleasant one. But I must also acknowledge, once I try to do this, every government, every president, every minister, every opposition leader, everybody has supported me. So I'm not alone. The Ports Authority, its terminals, shipping agents, shipping industry people, not only here but globally. And I believe in maritime sector because it's a massive industry in the world and we have not touched it. Just 2% of GDP. We took the Sri Lanka Ports Authority team to Jebel Ali recently and they made a presentation. It contributes 20% to UAE's economy and 33% to Dubai's economy, which is $108 billion. Now something is wrong here. So I am trying to fix it.
I can say on a personal note, Sri Lanka is certainly one of my most favorite countries to visit. Always loved coming here, and I can say that after I've gotten to spend the last days here this week, I'm going home later tonight, even more bullish on the country. I've been very invigorated with the people I've gotten to meet this week and speak to, and I look forward to see the next steps for this country. We see the opportunity to help countries really in four ways. I think primarily it's about being resilient and it's about bringing stability and operational excellence to a country. It's also about connecting a country with the rest of the world. Here we're proud that we have over 2/3 of our business comes from other shipping lines besides Maersk, and we look to grow that moving forward. It's about providing first-class infrastructure in and around the ports, and it's also about growing the best people in the industry for helping the communities that they operate in. We believe, for these reasons, in looking across the industry, that there's an opportunity to lift standards, and we humbly want to be a part of helping to do that. I think operating a concession, it's a big responsibility. It's a privilege, one that we take very seriously. And I can say what gets me out of bed every morning when I go to work is getting to visit the places that we do business and see the impact that we can make on people's lives. It's a true privilege.
Profound words of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, who aptly stated, and I quote, "The oceans are the world's common heritage, and sea routes are the lifeline of international trade. The prosperity of all of us depends on the active flow of maritime trade." It's a real truth. Standing at the crossroads of opportunity and responsibility, the maritime vision for the Indian Ocean region is not just one nation's aspirations, but a collective journey for the growth, security, and sustainability of South Asia. Embracing the ocean's boundless potential, the vision of India sets a course towards a future where sustainable growth, regional unity, and unwavering security leads to a brighter horizon. The region's growth story is anchored in its strategic position, as was mentioned, robust port infrastructure, and a rapidly expanding maritime sector. Technological advancements including digitalization, automation, AI-driven ships, blockchain, and smart ports are further enhancing operational efficiency and transparency, making the region a critical player in global trade.
Deputy Minister Nalin Hevage says an extremely clean environment has to be created to welcome the foreigners arriving in Sri Lanka. He has made these remarks at a media briefing in Ambalangoda. Deputy Minister of Vocational Education Nalin Hevage said that tourism is an industry through which large amount of foreign exchange could be earned within a short period. He added that the government is anticipating the arrival of 2.5 million tourists in the island next year, and the Deputy Minister further said that the existing environment in Sri Lanka is not conducive enough to receive such a large number of distinguished guests. Nalin Hevage also said the Clean Sri Lanka program is a massive project to create such a change. This program will be implemented in the Gold District on the 15th of next month. Under the program, the coastal belt of the Benthara to Goviyapana through the Truly Clean. He also said that the Gold Fort will be turned into a cleaner city of the tourist industry.
And in the meantime, the police special task force has been successful in detecting 7 chainas of cannabis cultivated discreetly carried out in an extent of 10 acres of land in the Lunugam Vihara Protectorate. 8 suspects have been arrested in this connection. The raid was conducted by a group of officials of the Buttala camp under the guidance of Senior DIG and Commanding Officer of the STF, Varuna Jayasundara. 4 firearms found in the possession of the suspects were also apprehended. 4 suspects, including a woman engaged in digging treasures in Parakramapura in Kudaoya, Tanamalvilla, have been taken into police custody by a group of police officials of the Tanamalvilla headquarters. Equipment used in the excavation were also recovered. Our correspondent says that the suspect was scheduled to be produced before the Valavaya Magistrate Courts.
And now let's move on to some more local news items in brief. Preliminary surveys and preparation of estimates of the development of the Ahale Polar Road where Ketanvilla Kildua in Akurasa Pradesh Sabha has commenced yesterday. The Coconut Cultivation Board has conducted a program of the enlightened coconut cultivators and representatives of the state and private banks on ways of making more efficient Kapruka credit scheme introduced to uplift the local coconut cultivation. A naval rating assigned to the Pune Navy camp was killed by a wild elephant attack. The victim has met with the accident while walking last night. He was reported dead upon admission to the Vavuniya Base Hospital. Wildlife officials say treatment of a wild elephant fallen into a paddy field in Kudakachirakodia area in Vavuniya has commenced. The elephant was found stuck in mud in rainy weather around 2 days ago. A crocodile was found trapped in a house at Diakalabulla in Kuliapitia at dawn today. The 5-foot creature is believed to have crept in the house due to the floods in the area. Stay tuned with international stories after this break.
Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue. A total commitment by everybody, every day, will help control dengue. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back with international stories. And Russia has launched airstrikes on parts of Aleppo, Syria's second largest city.
And it comes as rebel forces have taken control of the majority of Aleppo after launching the largest offensive against the government in years earlier this week. Meanwhile, the Israeli military has warned Lebanese citizens not to return to 60 villages in the south of the country, 3 days into a ceasefire after more than a year of fighting with the Shia armed group Hezbollah. The Israel Defense Forces published a map showing a swath of territory several miles deep, which it said residents must not return to. Anyone who did, it said, would be putting themselves in danger. More than 1 million Lebanese have been displaced by the fighting, mostly from the south, and tens of thousands of Israelis have also been displaced. In Gaza, at least 19 Palestinians have been killed and 72 injured in Israeli attacks across Gaza in the past 24 hours, according to the enclave's health ministry.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
And on sports news, South African team has secured a 233-run victory against Sri Lanka team in the first test match of the current series, concluded in the Kingsmead Stadium in Durban today.
The Sri Lankan team was shut out for a paltry 42 runs in the first innings in response to the South African team's first innings score of 191 runs all out. The South African team has declared their second innings at a score of 366 runs with a loss of 5 wickets, giving the Sri Lankan team a victory target of 516 runs. Yet the Sri Lankan team was struggling at 103 runs with 5 wickets down in the second innings with the fourth day play commenced today. The off-died not off batsmen with Dhananjay De Silva and Dinesh Chandimal. Chandimal has completed his 30th half-century in Test cricket, and meanwhile captain Dhananjay De Silva has also completed his 18th half-century in Test cricket. Dhananjay was dismissed for 59 runs with a fall of 6th wicket to the Sri Lankan innings. Kusal Mendis hit 48 and Sri Lanka team were able to score only 282 runs all out. Marco Jansen took 4 wickets and he won the match of the trophy by taking an overall 11 wickets in both innings. With this victory, South Africa was elevated to the second slot in the World Championship Test Cricket Tournament, and the Sri Lankan team was fallen into the 6th place. The second test match of the current series between the two countries is scheduled to commence on the 5th of next month.
And meanwhile, the Sri Lanka team has emerged victorious by 55 runs in the first match participated in the Under-19 Youth Asian Cup Cricket Tournament played in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates, and the team has beaten the Nepalese team convincingly. The Sri Lanka youth team within the 50 allotted overs has scored 233 runs, Shahrukh Shanmuganathan 60 runs and Lakwina Besinga 50 runs. Another notable scorer was Kavi Jagamke, who remained 37 not out. A successful bowler of the Nepal team was Santosh Jadhav, who has captured 4 wickets, and in reply, the Nepal team was managed to score only 178 runs, facing 46 overs and 2 deliveries. Main Yadav 62, Praveen Manisha took 3 wickets for the Sri Lanka team, and other successful Sri Lankan bowlers were Vihas Devmika, Kukadas Matulan and Newton Ranjit Kumaro, who have captured 2 wickets each.
Talking about the boundary. Trying to break my head and remember. I think I played a couple of the Under-19 Asia Cups. Did I play in a final? I remember Under-17 we did play the final in Sri Lanka. Brings up the 54, Shanmuganathan, the magnificent knock, batting at number.
Manidhi Nanayakaro of Princess of Wales College has been accorded captaincy of the Sri Lanka team named for the Under-19's Women's Asian Cup Cricket Tournament. Vice captain of the 15-member squad is Rashmika Sewandi of the Andhra College, Mathura. A special feature has been inclusion of 6 players of the Devpatiraj College of Radgama.
And also, the Sri Lankan team has been successful in gaining eligibility to the semi-finals of the visually handicapped World T20 Cricket Tournament being conducted in Pakistan. The Sri Lankan team has been successful in recording victories in 4 out of the 5 matches completed in the preliminary rounds. Accordingly, Sri Lanka has been placed in the second in the bonus point shot. The team will face the Bangladesh visually handicapped team in the first semi-finals tomorrow. The second semi-finals will also be played tomorrow itself. The winners of the 2 semi-finals will compete in the final scheduled to be conducted on the 3rd of next month.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
And that's it on tonight's stories. Do watch us tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita signing with Hesha. Stay safe. Good night.